Hey, everybody, and welcome in. It's the Poor Man Fantasy Football League podcast. We're the fantasy football show that gives you a peek inside the life and times of our Dynasty League. I'm your host, Mike, and with me, as always, is my friend Andrew. And this week, we're going to talk about the NFL Draft and share our early top and bottom 5 NFL teams. It is May 1st. Welcome to May. Andrew, we got some special guests tonight, but I'm going to start with you. How you doing?
Be better if we didn't get snow.
Yeah, that was kind of crappy. 2 days,
Yes.
snow, cold, yucky, and then this afternoon it just lightened up, and I think tomorrow's going to be a good day, just a little soggy.
Yeah. Yeah, but it still sucks to get snow in May. I know Donnie doesn't even know what that means. So.
That's okay. We'll figure it out. So,
Yes.
Speaking of Donnie, we got Donnie in the house with us tonight. And we also have our friend from down east. We've got Gabriel in the house with us tonight. Gabriel, how you doing?
Doing good. It's getting spring vibes in Quebec. 15 degrees out, so it's a good day.
That is good. Now, are you completely settled into your new life out there? Because you moved, I think, a while back, right? You're in Montreal now, officially?
Yeah, I'm living in Montreal right now. I just bought half the place with my girlfriend. So.
What?
Yeah.
Half a place with your girlfriend? That's super cool, dude. Congratulations.
Thanks. I'm happy.
That's a big move.
It is.
Okay. Oh, well, good to hear. And Donnie, how was life in sunny California? Oh, we lost your audio again, Donnie. Oh, I can see you cursing, looking up at your phone. Oh, there we go. We're getting something. There we go. I can hear you now.
There we go.
How's the hockey fever? I know our illustrious Edmonton Oilers are facing your Los Angeles Kings. Are they your Kings? Are you kind of a Kings fan? Like, where do you sit in the hockey world? Okay, fair enough. Well, the LA Kings are facing elimination tonight against the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
So, if
then you won't be disappointed when the Oilers knock them out.
Yeah, there we go. We can all remain friends. All right. Gabriel, are you cheering for anybody in the hockey season this year before we get into football?
I cheered for Calgary Flames, but...
Yeah, you and me both, man.
I started to golf early.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. We all can't pick winners, you know? Just yeah. All right. Anyways, let's talk about some news. Some things have happened, and I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. First one is running back Zeke Elliott has officially signed with the Cowboys. They didn't address anything in the draft, but Zeke is back. Is he the running back to own, do you guys think? Or is Rico Dowdle? Who is it? Who's the running back to own now that we know kind of the landscape of things? Anybody? Jump in.
Oof. That's a risky one. That's going to be a risky one forever. If depends on which Zeke shows up, the one that played his first 2 years or the one that played the last 2 years.
He's getting old,
so it's a tough one. He is 28.
28, but he ran way more than a lot of running backs. So
he has a lot of tread.
Yeah.
Worn off on those tires. He's seen some action. They were terrible. Okay. Yeah, I'm optimistic. I'm not out there. I'm not shopping for him, but I think if you are a Zeke owner, this is probably the best you will get Ride this last year off into the sunset. Get what you can get out of Zeke. That's my opinion. All right. Tank Dell, wide receiver for the Houston Texans, was in an incident at a nightclub, got shot, but he's okay. Crazy.
Brian Robinson of this year.
Yeah, right. Like he's the Brian Robinson of 2024. Hopefully he's okay. Gets his job back. AJ Brown quietly signed an extension, so that's good.
Yes. It would be nice if Tank Dell does bounce back and have as good a season as Robinson did after getting shot.
I mean, Robinson started slow though.
Took a few weeks. I want Tank Dell to be like,
he did
hit the ground running. Zay Jones.
That's what he should have done when the gun came out.
Should have ran. He probably was running. That's why he only got like a slight injury. The Jags released wide receiver Zay Jones, which I think is kind of sad that they did that, but unfortunately, they had too many mouths to feed. I think this is what bringing in Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, and Christian Kirk, plus Evan Ingram. I think this is just kind of clearing up some questions that we as fantasy managers don't now have to answer. I think he was a 50-50 guy. Yeah, he had a lot of off time.
And he was quite okay.
But when he played, yeah, it was really good when he played. So that's kind of surprising. I suspect he'll find another team. My money's on the Cowboys.
I mean,
or the Chiefs picking up scraps from people again.
No, they don't need anybody. Just let sleeping dogs lie. They've got enough dead weight on their roster. Darren Waller, 99% retired. It's not official, but I'm pretty sure it's official. I think he's done.
I mean, he's getting divorced.
That's all the news that
He'll probably wait to...
Ooh, really? The hot goss is coming out.
Yeah.
Is he like legit in real life getting divorced?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. That sucks.
To a WNBA
he'll probably
star.
do like most guys. Yeah. He'll probably do like most guys, wait a year and then hand the paperwork in. But you're right, Mike. He's probably 99% done.
Done. Yeah. Ooh, in other news, Travis Kelce's brother, Jason Kelce, probably the better of the two when it comes to personality, has landed a gig on the Monday Night Football group with ESPN, which I think is kind of exciting because he actually is an interesting character as a person. So I think he should add some really good color commentary and should be a little more lively to watch on Monday night.
And I think it's been a week.
Is he taking over for like Booker McFarland?
No idea. He just signed a 1-year deal. Trial. What was that, Gabriel?
Rashad Bateman, who signed a 3 or 4 year extension last week.
That's right. He did too. Rashad Bateman signed, and that was also a very quiet signing. Not a big money deal.
I mean, I don't even think I've seen how much he got paid. So
it's probably not a lot, which is great for him because he didn't do a lot to earn a paycheck.
He did.
Yeah. All right. Well, I do want to talk to you guys about the draft. It happened. There were some exciting things that occurred. Andrew and I got together. We ate a lot of food, drank some beers, watched the event go down. We made some predictions. We were overly successful for the majority of them. It was the top end of the draft that we did not get correct. Like we said, hey, if no trades happen, which is what we thought was going to occur, we had labeled it out, but I think everyone knew it was going to go Caleb Williams, then it was going to go Jaden Daniels, which is something that Andrew did not agree with, then Drake May, and then the 4 spot is where we thought the dominoes were going to trigger. It didn't happen. There were some other selections along the way. How did you go? Let's go round table. Gabriel, let's go with you first. What were your first reactions after the first round?
Too many offensive players.
A lot, yep.
And I think some GM feel like in hot water since they don't have QBs right now. I don't think Bo Nix and Michael Penix should be 8th and 12th pick in this draft. And I feel like Xavier Leggett shouldn't be a first rounder too. There's a few funky picks I didn't like, but for the most part,
Okay.
the three QBs, I'm good with them. I would have liked to have Drake May in Washington, but I mean, personal feelings.
Okay. As a Commanders fan, you would have preferred Drake May over Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, but the thing is, RG3 still RG3 PTSD from
Yeah, you
Jaden
have
Daniels. Yeah.
PTSD from RG3.
Yes.
Jaden Daniels
Yep.
got beat up in college. It won't be better in the NFL, so we'll see.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Donnie, what are your reactions to the first round of the NFL draft? You ended up with one of the best defensive linemen in the draft.
Yep.
Okay, who was it again you guys drafted? Oh, Jared Verse? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right, we do like good stories like that. Andrew, do you want to share some of your initial thoughts of the first round?
Well, the one thing that blew my mind was the whole Atlanta thing, picking up that quarterback there, and that just why, and then Buffalo trading down and trading down and trading down all over the place. Like, it just didn't make any sense. You could have got the player you wanted, and not having to trade. So the Raiders too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I'll talk. Michael Penix was a big shock. Second big shock was Brock Bowers going to the Raiders. Obviously, there was no quarterbacks left for them to panic select. But instead of selecting a future wide receiver, they selected Brock Bowers, but they selected Michael Myers last year. So to me, you're doubling up, and like that's just okay, cool. I wish you all the best on that one. I actually was upset initially with Buffalo trading back, but because of that particular range of wide receivers, I don't think they gave up on anybody better than what they got. So they kind of took a step back a couple times and still ended up with a wide receiver that I think that's really going to help them in Coleman. Yeah, Keon Coleman. So I don't think Xavier Leggett is better than Keon Coleman. I don't think a couple guys that went around that area. So I'm happy for them. I think they made the right move because they needed to fill in a lot of holes because they had to purge a lot of assets. So good on them for that. That was all right. Michael Penix and Bo Nix were just. Ooh, I really wish wish you the best on this because I don't think it's going to work out. I think this is gonna hurt you because you guys drafted early on these guys. Didn't really invest where I think you should. But on the bright side, as a Lions fan who picked super late, I knew we had a big need at cornerback, and the second best cornerback, if not one of the best quarterbacks, DBs in the draft, fell to us in Teron. I remember his name now. Dang it, Arnold, Terrion Arnold. Awesome. Here I thought we were going to be picking guys further down the list, and sadly, some of those guys I thought we were going to select in the first round ended up going in the second or third rounds. So it just kind of showed the dramatic shift of focus I think a lot of general managers had this year. Offensive players ruled the board and pushed down so much defensive talent, and teams that were savvy, that didn't feel the need to push and rush, just cleaned up and grabbed really good players.
Yeah.
Is there, outside of the first round, were there selections that you guys found surprising, whether it was a defensive player or an offensive player? We're going to go back to you, Gabriel, to kind of throw it to you right now. Anybody that surprised you that went either super earlier out of the first round or super late, where you're like, wow, I'm surprised he didn't go.
I mean, Jalen Polk, the New England Patriots.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was good, but not like early second round good. The guy from the Saints, Kool-Aid. I just love the name.
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the Kool-Aid man was going to land in Detroit.
yeah, I
In the
thought he
first
was
round,
going to
yeah.
the first round.
Yeah.
He went early second to the Saints, and the one that surprised me is the first running back going to the Panthers. I really thought the Chargers or the Cowboys. Cowboys not picking a running back. This is a big surprise, like we talked.
What? Okay, there's a story I hear floating around that Jerry Jones might have spoken too early before the draft that he was loving some of these running backs, and teams that picked ahead of them drafted Jonathan Brooks and Trey Benson before he got a chance to select those running backs.
I mean, he could have picked Trey Benson in the second round, but he did not. So
He didn't.
Yep.
So maybe he should have traded up, made a move, or maybe he was just smoke screening everybody because he wanted that Zeke.
I mean, maybe, but in the first round, I really like Ricky Pearsall.
You do?
Yeah.
That wasn't a shock to you?
I mean, I was listening to Reception Perception a week ago,
Yep.
2 weeks
With
ago,
Matt Harmon.
and he had some good arguments for Ricky Pearsall. So I was not shocked that much. Because,
Supposedly he has the best hands in this draft class.
yeah, and I thought they would have traded Ayuk or Debo after the pick. I mean, it might happen, but now they have a stacked wide receiver room with Kittle. So Brock Purdy doesn't even have to be good. Just bring the ball there.
Just move the ball.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Johnny, what about yourself? Any shocks, surprises, goods, bads out of the later rounds? Yes.
Yeah.
I think it would be super efficient. You're right. Yeah, no, it's good. Blake Corum is used to running with a second running back. It's just the way the system worked where he was at. He'll be your ground and pound, and I think Kyron Williams will be that super finesse. Right? Awesome. Yep. Yeah, it might be a slow burn. He might be a slow burn to get to relevance. Yep. Okay. Going to early to mid seconds. Yep. Oh. Ooh, yeah. Bo Nix. Okay. Andrew, what about yourself? Any big shockers after the whole thing was said and done?
These guys have touched on pretty much everything. Not a whole lot, to be honest. Yeah,
Okay.
they've both touched on a lot of it. I'm gonna piggyback what Donnie was also saying, even about Blake Corum. There, just it'll be real interesting to see who gets the love on inside the 5-yard line. There, because like you said, Mike, he can ground and pound it, as where Williams is a little bit more of the break it out and catch a short little pass to run it in. So it'll be real interesting to see how the Rams utilize both of them, especially inside the red zone.
It was
true. That's what. Yeah.
Keep
you don't want
keep it
to
around long.
Kind of like a stat, like they were talking about Elliott today. He's 28, but in football years he's like 31, 32, just because they used him so heavily early on. And again, some of these teams maybe picking up a second running back is not such a bad idea nowadays to spell off your star and keep the longevity a little bit longer.
Okay. Here's my comments from the draft. I got to watch far more than I thought I'd get an opportunity to. And I was pleasantly surprised at the number of Michigan Wolverines that went in this draft.
16 of 18.
Yeah, it was really good to see some love that was sent that way. Winning a national championship, I think, really helped a lot of these kids get homes. Something I'm going to throw out there for you guys: Cornelius Johnson, wide receiver, formerly of the Michigan Wolverines, landed with his former coach, Jim Harbaugh, as a Los Angeles Charger. Okay, drafted 7th round though, so not a lot of investment into him. But this is a guy, he knows what he can get out of him, and he was the number 2 wide receiver behind Roman Wilson in that program. So, just for those that have those late round selections, maybe take a 5th round flyer on the kid. Yep. I thought it was really neat, the offensive talent that went. Sure, that makes sense. J.J. McCarthy landed in the Vikings. Blake Corum going to the Rams. Sure, Roman Wilson going to Pittsburgh. When I saw that selection, I was like, oh, no way. Pittsburgh seems to have that absolute crazy knack of finding really good wide receivers and getting something out of them. And here they landed Roman Wilson. I'm like, yes, thank you for validating my feelings on this. This would be good.
Yes.
So, and then the defensive players that got drafted, just kind of fun. Overall, I really like how the city of Detroit held the attention and the energy for the whole event, which is partly why I wanted to watch and wanted to see some of that stuff, which is pretty good. I enjoyed the draft a lot this year.
I mean, there was 150,000 people.
Was huge.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
for a draft.
It was amazing when they did the pan out shots and you're looking at the crowd. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of people. I would never go. That's way too many people. It's still cool to see though.
I mean, what do you do at an NFL draft? You wait for 3 hours for your team to pick one person.
Yeah. One person, yeah.
Yeah.
Or trade back. Oh, geez, yeah.
Trade back, and your team doesn't even pick a guy. Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Just trade back.
The draft was in Buffalo, and they're just trading back.
Yeah. But it almost seems like it's becoming a spectacle where each year and the crowds are probably going to get bigger and bigger and bigger over the next few years.
Well, yeah, I love it. They're moving
and they're going to
around
have tons of side stuff going on. Yeah.
Just elevating the game. Oh, I guess something else we forgot in the news section. Sorry. Travis Kelce restructured his deal, and now he has an extension to become the highest paid tight end in the NFL. Good for him.
I feel like it's just for him to say he's the highest paid tight end in the league.
Yes. Hey, thank you for bringing your girlfriend to the show here. We really appreciate all the attention that she gets. We're going to compensate you for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do another quick round table. I'm going to do another quick round table. We're talking about teams specifically. So, Gabriel, as the Commanders fan, I know you're a little gun shy when it comes to Jaden Daniels. How do you feel about the rest of the draft that your team put forth?
I mean, I liked it. They picked defensive tackle we had needed. The defense used to be our strong parts, and now we don't have anyone. So we picked some good guy, and we drafted the Christian McCaffrey brother from Rice.
Luke McCaffrey, that should be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's been playing wide receiver for 1 or 2 years. And the last time we did draft someone like that, it was Antonio Gibson. He played wide receiver to running back, and it didn't translate to a good NFL career. But I think we did great. I'd have a good grade for our draft, but I feel like we always have good draft, and then we just suck. Pretty much it. But we grabbed...
You draft good, but you still crap the bed.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
We got some...
Donnie, how you feeling about your Rams? Okay. Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of years left. Okay. Okay. Yeah. When the players get the call and then the announcement, and that's pretty cool. Like watching them go through those emotions and sharing it with their loved ones, that's kind of cool. Yeah. Actually, Andrew and I, we had some good jokes regarding when they would pan to the athlete and they'd show the family and friends, right? And you'd see there was typically one large ethnicity group of whatever was on screen, but there'd be the token opposite sitting somewhere nearby. It's almost like the NFL required you had to have that token off color sitting right there. If it's an all black family, there's just a token white person sitting there for some reason, right? It's like you look really out of place. Like you're even dressed differently. Like you like an agent or like who are you? And then when you have like the all white family, it's like there's a black guy sitting there, nicely dressed. It's like, okay, again, are you the agent? Are you a representative from the NFL? Like why is this weird contrast? Ugh, that hurts. I you sure could reward. Okay, so here's what I think is happening. I don't think they have a cameraman at everybody's house. What I think they have is a laptop with a webcam, and they're just live streaming it into the feed that comes into the NFL's broadcast system, and then they just cut to that feed. Yeah, I think that's how they're doing it. Because that would be really awkward sending out a camera crew to everybody's house and be like, all right, man, we hung out here for the day and nobody called you. All right, good luck to you. Yeah.
The guy eats half of your 6-foot sub.
But then takes all the hats when he leaves, right? Because they have all 32 hats sitting there. Yeah. That's funny. Okay. Andrew, we're going to start with your Bengals. How did your Bengals do?
Like you and I were talking on Thursday night, the first thing that came out of my mouth was they need to take an offensive lineman. And that's what they took in the first round. with Mims as an offensive tackle. Wolverines, so I was happy with that. Picking up defensive tackle Jenkins and the wide receiver Burton out of Michigan. The odd one that I thought, they took Eric All from Iowa, tight end. I wasn't
Former
sure
Michigan
why,
Wolverine.
but then when I started reading, but then when I was reading more, he's an excellent blocker. So again, if it was to help protect Burrows, that might be a really good choice down the road. But overall, I think they covered a lot of their needs. A couple of defensive linemen, a corner, and a wide receiver. So they addressed a few things. So it should be good.
All right, let's talk about Chiefs.
Again, Xavier Worthy, they grabbed him. They moved. They traded with Buffalo. They could have still got him at the same thing. I don't know. I don't understand that. Outside of that, like the Chiefs were pretty quiet. Some offensive linemen and defensive backs. In the fourth round, they took a tight end for some reason. Not sure why. Maybe as a third string backup.
A developmental
in case the two guys get hurt.
when,
I don't know.
Travis Kelce hits 40.
Maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe. I just the Chiefs outside of wide receivers are pretty well rounded, so they
Okay.
whole lot of stuff. So
All right. Well, I'm excited for my Lions. I think they made some aggressive moves. They traded up several times to go and try and find their dude. I'm just gonna put Gabe. I'm gonna put you on mute because you're clickety clacking over there like a little goblin. There we go. All right. Oh, hopefully he's not shopping for Pokemon VHS tapes. I certainly hope not. Okay. An interesting character out of the Lions draft was the defensive back they drafted and labeled him as a running back. So they got him in the 5th round, and as of right now, Sleeper, you weren't able to select him. You couldn't draft him in the draft. You couldn't find him because he was a defensive player. So unless you're playing IDP, you weren't able to actually draft this player. So unfortunately, you got to wait for the waiver wires to go get this kid. Now, I don't know exactly what the intent is because I think their running back room is pretty healthy as it is. So, but they drafted him though, just kind of a neat character, multi-talented, multifaceted. Maybe they're going to use him as like the kick returner. Maybe that's why they put the running back label on him. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of neat that they drafted that kid, and I can't remember his name now. It's Vidal, Vitan, something along those lines. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got with regards to the news here. Let's take a big jump down to what we actually brought you guys in today. We're going to talk about the top 5 and bottom 5 of our own personal predictions here of what we think, and we're going to compare it to what the NFL's current power ranking is. So I want to know what each of your guys' top 5 players are teams going into the season as of right now. So based upon the draft that happened and what you think and you feel. And then we're going to go down to the bottom 5, the guys you think they're going to sit and live at the very bottom of the rosters, or the standings, as it were. And if you want, I will gladly go first. I will take this on. Here's my rankings as of today when it comes to the top 5 teams. My number 1 team going into this is the Ravens. And I say that because this is a team that was super stout defensively. They were really good offensively. They didn't play well in the playoffs, but that doesn't stop them from being a really good team. The signing of Derrick Henry, I think, is absolutely outstanding for them. And they didn't really need to do much in the draft to help round out some of their holes, in my opinion. So I think this is the team that's going to repeat and do extremely well. So I have them number 1 currently. Number 2, 49ers. Again, that was a super well-rounded team with lots of depth, and they made some selections that I think were luxury selections because they didn't have to fill the needs that most teams had to. And they're just adding depth for when they do decide to part ways with other assets on their team. And another guy that I'm really starting to like is that running back that they drafted. The guy's pretty big. He's pretty solid. So if you needed to find out who the handcuff is, that's probably the guy I'm going to chase after for the 49ers. Now, I did put my Lions back on this list at number 3. And that's not just a homer selection. I do think they repeat as a playoff contending team. I think there's going to be some more challenges for them in the NFC North. But to me, they just needed to shore up some defensive gaps. The offensive weapons, I think, are still there. Not much is changing on that side of the ball. We did lose one of our best offensive tackles. He did move on. I think we found some dudes that came in to fill it in the from free agency. So I'm very happy that they're keeping very consistent here. And then this might be a bit of a weird pick, and maybe not super popular, is I do think the Cowboys are still going to be a hot team to beat. And mainly because they're just always good. They're just never great. And I think Dak, because he wants to get that big money deal, I hope he just balls out. He's like, you know what? I'm throwing everything at this, and I am going to get that big money contract, whether it's with the Cowboys or with another team after that. So I've got them in the top 4. And then the Eagles. And to me, the Cowboys and the Eagles are interchangeable. I kind of had them put in the same spot, having at this point a tied record. I think the Eagles, again, are much like the 49ers, well-rounded team, and were able to make some selections that were just like luxury picks. And because of how the draft went, they were able to, just like last year, pick up some crazy good talent that shouldn't have been there for them. So that's my top 5. Gabriel, now that I see that you've thrown yours in there, let's flip over.
My top 1 is
start with your list.
The 49ers. I feel like they're the best team in the league. They have defense, offense. They're really the best. And CMC is game-breaking talent. I had the Ravens and the Niners. I switched them, and then I re-switched them. I feel like they're going to be top 2 teams in the league, and the Ravens are my second choice. Ravens adding Derrick Henry is amazing. The RPO they can do with Lamar Jackson maybe running, or you get wrecked by Derrick Henry. Amazing. Mark Andrews will be back this year, stronger than ever. This offense would wreck everything on their path. The only thing is, I feel like the Ravens have a harder division than the Niners can have. So they'll have... I mean, this division is always a wild card for me. Every team wins against anyone in this division. Third one, the Chiefs. I mean, I don't like the team, but they always end up winning. And the big negative they had last year was outside wide receiver, and they went out and got Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy. So I feel like Patrick Mahomes can do some Patrick Mahomes things. I think he was the third worst quarterback throwing to outside wide receiver last year. And I feel like it can't be worse this year. So it'll be good. And I don't think the Cowboys will do as good as you thought they would. The Cowboys, they are too much unilateral. It's always Dak and CeeDee Lamb. I mean, you can counter that pretty easily. So I went with the Eagles. Eagles who went out and got Saquon Barkley. That I feel is way better than DeAndre Swift that they had last year. So they'll do good. They were number 1 in the league before Jalen Hurts got hurt. So, I mean, why not? And last one, the Lions. Because I had to have your team on the list.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Some good love. All right, Donnie, I see you hiding down there in the corner of our screen in the darkness as the sun is setting. That's okay. Yeah. That's not surprising to me, actually. Like, I like this selection. I think it's really bold. Indy, the Jags. Yeah, Indy, Jags, and Jacksonville. Yeah, those are some wins that they can get. Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of similarities so far. All right, Andrew, the one guy who did not upload his information into the show doc for us all to peruse. He's gonna show us. He's gonna tell us, and we're gonna add it in as we go. All right, Andrew, who do you got is your top 5 this year?
So I'm going to go for 5.
Okay, number 5
is the Eagles. It's the Eagles.
Okay, Eagles number 5.
They had a pretty good draft, and they were pretty solid last year. It's a weak division, so it's theirs to take. Number 4.
Okay. Yep.
I've got the Lions.
Yeah.
Repeating, taking the division again.
Love that.
And they got a little bit better, I think, overall. Their big question mark is their quarterback is he getting too old to keep repeating this? Hopefully he can. Number 3, I've got the Texans as well. They just, I think last year was their, like the Lions 2 years ago, was their confidence builder year. And then this year they're going to come into it super hot, and they're going to be fun to watch. They're going to be a high-powered offense. Number 2, I got the 49ers. I mean, when you got that offense, it's tough to stop them. And then my number 1 is obviously the
Oh
Chiefs.
my goodness.
They're going to three-peat.
Stanley Cup, Super Bowl champions, homer pick right there.
Yeah, three-peat.
Okay. So then, out of curiosity, where do you rank the Ravens? Because right now the Ravens are not on your list. Where would you put them? Are they close to your top 5 right now, or are they further out?
They're a little bit further out, and that's and I'll explain later when we hit the dark horse thing.
Oh, okay. I do like some of the consistency here. Now I'm going to share with you guys what NFL.com released today with regards to its power rankings. Number 5 on their list is the Eagles. So I think that was consensusly a team that we all had on our list was the Eagles. Their number 4 were the Ravens. So outside of Andrew, the Ravens made it to everybody's list. Then the Lions were on that list, which I think is absolutely fantastic. They're still getting some love and respect. And I appreciate you guys feeling that love too. Now we've also got the 49ers. The 49ers are feeling some great love from all of us because it appears that we all think very highly of them. And then number 1 they have is the Chiefs, obviously reigning Super Bowl champions. Until you dethrone them, I don't see that changing on this list from the NFL, from NFL.com. Now, I've got the Cowboys as the lone standout. 2 of you guys got the Texans. To me, the Texans are really close. The Chiefs are my number 6, so they're right on that bubble of being like right there, cutting in. Very, very interesting where we currently land on all of this. Now, Donnie, you did write down a dark horse pick. I also see that Gabriel, you added that. Donnie, let's talk about your dark horse pick as of right now. you've got both the Rams and the Jags listed as being in your top 5. Why is that? Yep. It was a great matchup, and I really regret how some fans treated the Stafford family when they were there. That's one regret I have of that whole game experience. But otherwise, it was a good matchup. Okay. All right. You do, hey? You're still holding out hope that he's going to be good? Oh. Okay. Okay. As of right now, I'm out on Brian Thomas. Yep. I'm never in a range where I can get Brian Thomas, which is another reason why I'm out on Brian Thomas. Have I been? Yeah. Yeah, Ben Sinnott. Snipe, snipe, snipe. You know I love my tight ends. I just can't not have one. Okay, sorry. All right, Gabriel, let's talk about your selection here. You got Cleveland as your dark horse. Okay, are you really feeling the vibe
like the
there?
team. I think it's like my second favorite team, and they finished the year strong. Yeah, they lost to the Texans in the playoff, but if Deshaun Watson can come back stronger than he was, I feel like they can be a good team. They have a good defense. They just need a good quarterback, and they're A-okay. Yeah.
They went deep with Joe Flacco. You get anybody on that roster, I think things are going to happen. Now, quick question for you: as a secondary fan of the Cleveland Browns, do you have any opinions regarding Nick Chubb and his future there? Do you think he comes back? Is he playing well? What are you
feel like
there?
He'll come back because they didn't address the problem they had at running back in the draft. So they probably have a good guess if he's going to be back. And Jerome Ford was good, but he's not a starting running back in the NFL for me. He was good, but...
He was good. He was relevant for us because he had to play, but he wasn't terrible. He's just not...
I feel like he was a good fantasy running back, but not a good real-life running back. Like Nick Chubb could be.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, then, you know what, Andrew? Let's talk about your dark horse. You alluded to it earlier.
Yes. You asked me about the Ravens, and I think if they can get the right system in place with the right quarterback, I put down the Steelers as my dark horse, who could sneak in and steal that division.
Or Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Justin Fields.
Fields. That's why I say it depends on the system that they. I think the other pieces that they got on the team, if they can, and I think they complement Fields more than they do Russell Wilson. That team, I think, is going to surprise some people. They always have a solid defense. I would have loved to have put Cincinnati as my dark horse, but there's just too many question marks around which Burrows is going to come back. So I had to go with the Steelers as my dark horse.
Wow.
In this situation.
Okay.
And if they get on a roll watch out. They could be that conference's representative.
They
I'm not even
lost
going that far to
Deontay
say
Johnson.
Well, which is a lot considering you despise the Pittsburgh Steelers.
that. They did, but I still think they have a lot of weapons
I feel like Archer
that
Smith just
that will
needs two
help.
running back and he's good.
Okay.
So
Like we saw in Atlanta.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Well, they have a really interesting combination of coordinators, right? Because they've got Cliff Kingsbury and Arthur Smith, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So those are two not overly popular individuals from a fan and fantasy stand base. All right. Okay. So interesting that you chose the Steelers. My selection is actually not as flashy. It's the Texans, and you was mentioned earlier. The Texans are hot. They got really good in a surprising way, and it's stuck. And C.J. Stroud seems to be absolutely legit. If he continues on with that trend this year, I can see them being like right now they're my number 7. So they're just on the bubble for me, and I wish them all the best. They are my number 2 team of teams I like to cheer for. I just love teams that lose so much that I chose the Texans and the Lions as my teams forever. So I'm very excited for them to see what's going on, and I love the changes that they've made to their roster. That they're really investing. It feels like. So yeah, the Texans are my dark horse to get into this top 5. We'll see how
And
that
Mike-
actually plays out over the next couple months.
Cliff,
Now let's
Cliff
talk about
Kingsbury
bottom 5.
is for the
Oh, go ahead.
Commanders right now, not the Steelers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal that rotten thunder from you. Kingsbury. He's out there somewhere. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. We want to be as accurate as we possibly can with real information, not fake. All right. Let's talk about the bottom 5. Now, I'm going to give you guys the NFL.com's rankings currently, and then we're going to kind of see where we're matching up. And I can see some similarities already. But as of right now, the 28th ranked team are the Denver Broncos. The 29th ranked team are the Commanders. The 30th ranked team is the Titans. The 31st team, the Patriots. And holding down the worst team in the NFL is the Carolina Panthers. Now, obviously, they're basing a lot of this off of last year's finishes. And they didn't really move a lot of teams based upon their draft selection. So to me, this doesn't truly reflect what changes have been made both in free agency and in the draft. So this is very kind of one-sided. However, I think a lot of us still share some of these sentiments. So I will share my bottom 5, and then we'll go again round table. So my number 5 is also the Denver Broncos, and that's mainly because the quarterback position wasn't addressed with a quality selection. They did get Bo Nix, and to me, Bo Nix was not worth the 12th selection in the first round. Maybe a late round first selection, but they also don't have anybody to compete with him on a level that's going to drive him to succeed. Jarrett Stidham is the gentleman in question. So that's why I have them sitting here at number 5, because I don't think that this team's going to etch out too many wins as they're currently constructed. My number 4, so the 29th team, is the Tennessee Titans. They did make some moves for some older aging assets. They paid some money to. I think they're pulling at the wrong straws here to try and make something happen. Not overly excited to see where this goes. Will Levis, I'm essentially out on until he shows me otherwise. Number 30 on my list, the New England Patriots. Yep, they're a brand new team. They did draft Drake May. I do like that kid as a quarterback prospect. However, I think the team is terrible. I think there's too much for them to have to rebuild around, so I don't have high expectations of them going into this year. Number 2, the 31 team on this list, is the New York Giants. They've got nothing. Devin Singletary and now Malik Neighbors. I took Rome Odunze over Malik Neighbors at the 102 because I think I like Malik Neighbors. I just don't like Daniel Jones. I don't think Daniel Jones is going to make something out of Malik Neighbors this year. And if he's gone next year or maybe the year after, whoever it plays out, there's going to be another learning acclimation of building up to helping Malik Neighbors be relevant. It's almost like he's a really good athlete who's probably going to play through a carousel of crappy quarterbacks. Yeah, so I took Rome Odunze because he's coming in with a rookie quarterback. They've already shared like bus rides and plane rides and hotel rooms and probably girlfriends at this point. Who knows? That I think these guys have bonded already in the offseason that I think day one, sure, they're not going to perform because there's two other great athletes ahead of them. But long term, I think some good things are going to happen. So that's why I put the New York Giants. Not some good things going on there. Sorry for all you Pokemon VHS lovers out there. Not gonna pan out. My worst team is still Carolina. I don't believe in Bryce Young. I don't think Xavier Legette, Jonathan Brooks, Adam Thielen, trading for Deontay Johnson, not really addressing your offensive line issues to the extent that I think you needed to help protect this poor kid. They made some moves, but let's see if it works out for them. I still think they're the worst team overall because they also traded away some of their best defensive talent and got like nothing for it. So those are my bottom five. Gabriel?
My bottom five is the Panthers because I feel like they did address the problem in their interior offensive line. And that was the biggest problem I saw last year with Bryce Young. They got Xavier Legette in the first round. I don't think he's a good first round, but I feel like he's a good pick overall. And they did go out and get Deontay Johnson. So they now have a wide receiver squad. That's a thing they didn't have with Adam Thielen last year. Jonathan Mingo is not the answer. So they're going to be bad, but not the worst. Bottom five, I went with the Giants because I still believe in Daniel Jones if he ever comes back from injury. And right now they have Malik Neighbors, who is their best wide receiver since Odell Beckham Jr., so it tells a lot about the team. Bottom three, Patriots. I just don't like the team. They have no one. They have Drake May and no one. Wan'Dale Robinson. So I don't like watching Patriots because most of my friends are Patriots fans, so you need to hate the team. And bottom two, the Titans.
Okay.
I mean, they have some older talents, like you said, but they went out and got Tony Pollard, who I felt like was not a good running back for the Cowboys last year. Who is a team that has a good offensive line year in, year out. So right now, he's going to play behind a okay offensive line. So I don't think he'll be good. And Will Levis puts mayonnaise in his coffee. So can you really trust that guy?
Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Did you just say he puts mayonnaise in his coffee?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a real thing he does?
Yes. Yes.
Is this also the kid that has the weird relationship with bananas, too?
That's the face
my
of your
goodness.
franchise.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Oh, jeez.
I mean, the Broncos, because
All right.
I don't like Sean Payton. I don't think Bo Nix is the answer. And they have Cortland Sutton as wide receiver one. So I don't feel it's going to be a huge year for the Broncos.
Yay. But come on, man. Marvin Mims.
I have Marvin Mims in one of my dynasty. And I looked up his value. And I felt like it was way overvalued when you compare with what he did last year. I think he had like 2 or 3 good games and then disappeared.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right, Donnie. I know it's getting late for you, my friend. You got to get to work soon. So let's hear yours. Who are your bottom five? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not a solid running back. He had an okay year, but not okay. So Broncos, Patriots, Titans, Raiders, Giants. Oh, interesting. Lot of similarities here. All right, Andrew, let's hear what you got.
And as we've been sitting here talking a couple times now, my number 28, Indianapolis Colts. I just don't believe in them. It's in disarray a little bit, so I don't think they're going anywhere.
Okay.
Number 29, I have my Giants, or not my Giants, the Giants. Again, for the same reasons everybody has been putting out. Number 30, I have, and they could even be lower down on the list. Number 31, I've got the Patriots. And then my surprise for the last team in the league, and I hate to say it because I love the coach, I got the Chargers. Because they just right now they don't have a lot of anything consistent a team right now other than their quarterback.
Okay. Let's come back to
team
this.
to watch for
your list again, top to bottom. Top to bottom. Your number 5 team was who again?
The Colts.
Yeah, okay, Colts.
29 was the Giants.
Okay, Giants. There's
30 is the Titans. Yep.
Okay, yep.
Yep. And the Titans.
Yep.
31 is the Patriots.
Patriots. Okay, so that makes some sense. I'm riding with you here. And then your worst team out of all of that is the Chargers.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm a Harbaugh guy because of Michigan, but
yeah,
I just they got too many missing pieces, and that team falls apart every year in the second half of the season, and I don't think they're gonna get their act together this year.
Okay. They do have bad luck. They get some terrible injuries.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, NFL.com, one of the only teams they elevated were the Chargers.
I get that. I get that. I don't see, when I look at the roster, I just don't see pieces melding together yet.
Okay. They took them. They have the Chargers now sitting at
15 overall is
in their
steep.
rankings. Yeah.
Wow.
15 overall, right? Okay. I think that's a big boost.
That's a playoff spot.
Yeah, I agree with you, Andrew. This is a team that's not looking like it's going to win a lot. I don't have them in my bottom 5. I have them in my bottom 10. But I find it interesting that the NFL.com thinks that they're a really good team as of right now, based upon whatever they saw. Okay, but the Colts. Okay,
he's got to build his team.
He's got to build his team. I get it. It takes time. Get his players, instill his culture.
Yeah.
Okay,
the Colts. I just don't like the. Again, it's a team in disarray, in my opinion. Wow, I don't know. Okay. What's the character of the team? You and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. What is the character of that team? Are they a throwing team? Are they a running team? What are they? What are they?
They are.
Um,
Yeah.
they're going to give up lots of points on defense, and I don't think they have enough offensive power to make up for it.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question, Andrew. You don't have the Denver Broncos on here. How close
They
were
would
they
have
to
been
the
number 6.
They were number 6. Okay, because I thought that was one team consistently across the board. The Titans consistently across the board. The Patriots consistently across the board. Carolina didn't make your list either, much like Donnie. So are they the bottom 10 for you at least?
That was somebody. Oh yeah, I crossed them off. They crossed them off. I crossed off Washington. Just as we've been talking, and I've been thinking about the teams and their lineups and stuff. Originally, like I said, I had Washington on there. I had the Carolina on there. I had the Giants on there and then wiped them off, and then put the Giants back on. The only two that stayed the whole time were the Titans and the Patriots. But
Those are the teams you were most confident in being in the bottom 5. Okay.
yeah.
All right, interesting.
Yeah.
So that's us, folks. I think that's pretty cool. What I'll do is I'll get a screenshot of this. I'll post it up into the team chat so everybody can get a chance to see where we're currently seeing how this plays out, and we'll get a chance to revisit this. Now the plan is sometime during training camp. So I'm kind of like planning this like every 2 months from now, we'll get back together, and we'll have a look and saying, hey, has our opinion been changed based upon what information we've heard, we've come across along the way, because we'll have training camps, rookie camps coming up. Then we'll do it again roughly around week 1, so the end of preseason. Around week 1, we'll get a chance to get back together and talk again. We'll touch base mid-season, so now that we'll see some of these teams actually play, how are they doing, and just kind of like ride this roller coaster, right? Much like how we're riding the stock exchange, we're going to see how our opinion of these teams change. And then again, as soon as the season ends, we'll get back together and say, hey, this is how it ended. This is where they're going. This is who they're anticipating to lose in free agency, blah, 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 blah. And just kind of see where that goes. All right? Yeah, it should be fun.
Awesome.
Well, Gabriel, Donnie, I greatly appreciate you guys joining us tonight, taking time out of your schedule. Gabriel, especially because you had a work function tonight. You did some socializing. It's super late for you because you're 2 hours ahead. So, man, I appreciate your time. Donnie, as well, you're sitting in the dark in your backyard to give us some great audio so we don't hear your family making noise inside the house. Love it. Appreciate you guys. Looking forward to this upcoming season and our draft. As soon as everybody gets their bills paid, maybe go down to the local pawn shop, trade in your old VHS tapes, and get that.
I feel like
that
we
all
could
squared away, all right?
trust 1, 2, 3, and
all right,
go ahead.
Yeah, we can. Just shake it down as lunch money.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, folks. Well, you know what, guys? Thank you again for this evening. Folks listening at home, remember, you can follow us on all of our social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Oh, Poor Man Football, all one word. It's a good time. It's a labor of love, folks. We love doing this as long as you guys love listening to it. Remember, from one poor man to another. If it's not fun, it is not worth doing.
Have a good
night,
one, boys.
everybody.